What's a crack? I'm recording this at a bit of a weird time. One sec, I'm gonna turn my light off. Oh, that's more cozy now, but come here. I'm gonna challenge myself this episode to not vape the whole time, right? I'm not gonna vape the whole episode. Do you know what, right? We'll do one now to get it out of the way, right? And if this is a problem for anyone, let me know and I'll stop, but I just think it's a bit of a meme. So, right, one nice one now. It's gonna be a nice one. And then I can fuck it off for a while. Right, I lied, I took two. But that coil's starting to burn out. I literally, right, I have a real that sounded like I was going to try flex about my vape there. I have like one of the good vapes, one of the twin tanks, like the big ones. And the coils are a $5 each, right? And because I'm vaping like real nice flavours and all, the fucking coils burn out so quickly. So I'm after going through 5 coils in the past week and a half. Do you know what I mean? That's not on. When I was using the cheaper vape, I'd be able to get a month out of a coil sometimes. But yeah, welcome back. Big thanks to anyone who's actually continuously listening to these, because originally I started these and I thought I was going to make 2 episodes. I was going to get ripped into it and I was going to let the pressure get to me, and then I was going to delete the 2 episodes and never look back. But all I'm thinking about now is the next podcast. You know what I mean? It's just it's a fucking fantastic feeling, and I cannot wait until I'm actually in the process of setting up a studio like in the house, and I'm gonna have, as I've said, I'm gonna have guests on. The more guests the better, the more people I have booked on the better. I have a couple now booked on, so hopefully I'll get a few more. And I'm not sure if every week will be a new guest. I don't think it will. I think it will be once a month for now. I'll have a guest episode where, like, maybe once every 2 weeks. If I have enough people to be guests once every 2 weeks, that would be fantastic if I can do that. So 1 week will be me talking shite. It'll just be a voice recording, sort of the way it has been since the beginning. And then when I have a guest on, then it'll be done in the studio where I'll have it recorded, so on camera. So we just web my webcam or something that I'm using, or I'm gonna might try to get my hands on a bit of a better camera. But I'll be getting 2 new decent mics, new chairs, soundproofing for the walls of the room that I'm doing it in, nice LED lights and stuff like that, so it looks cushy. And yeah, it'll be a nice little setup. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, so this week's episode is a bit of a weird one, because, well, it's not a weird one. Sorry, don't get your hopes up. I'm not doing a weird one this week. Just because the last few have been quite Joe Rogan-esque. So, like, fucking the hardest guns in history was good. You can imagine him talking like, this guy was insane, man. This guy was huge, you know, like, but that was very Joe Rogan-ish, that episode, and other episodes have been. But I'm gonna take a break from that, and I'm just gonna go back to a bit of a topic that's it's close to my heart, and I think it's close to a lot of lads, is the topic of addiction. And what I was going to do was I was going to look up a lot of facts, right? I was going to talk to people who have studied addiction. I was going to try talk to past addicts of other stuff and try find them or whatever, and just try get as much information as I can. But I decided then I'm not going to do that. I'm actually just going to give a human's opinion on the issue from an emotional standpoint, from a personal standpoint, rather than reading off what percentage of addiction is related to childhood abuse, or what percentage of addiction is related to trauma, or what percentage of addicts have addictions running in their family, rather than just reciting off pages upon pages of shit like that, to just act like, look at me, I know my stuff, when I look it up. I'd rather give you the way I see it type of outlook on it. And this podcast mightn't be as long as the other ones. It might be, I don't know. I'm going to record until I feel like I've finished recording. But I think I'll just start from stuff that I was addicted to. I think I was talking about this with someone as well. There's different types of addiction, obviously. There's beneficial addiction, which is you get lads who are addicted to the gym. For example, Ronaldo is addicted to being the best. Like he has to be the best. I was talking about one of the lads, and like some lads are addicted to the gym. Some lads are addicted to jogging. Some people are addicted to swimming. Some people just need to do these things, and I think it's not so much an addiction, and it's just sort of an extreme passion. And I think if it can be beneficial for you, fantastic. Do you know what I mean? One of those types. But I'm talking about the addictions. Like, for example, for this podcast, we'll use cocaine and weed for examples, right? It's great that I'm not well known on YouTube and I don't have to worry about being demonetized, because I'm not even being monetized to begin with. But yeah, so cocaine and weed, I think, well, first of all, coming from my perspective, I was addicted to weed for the best part of 2 years, and people say it's not addictive as well, which is complete bullshit. It definitely is. Ask if you know anyone who's a stoner, take away weed one night for them and they won't be able to sleep. It just goes to show it definitely is addictive. Whether it be physically addictive or not, that's down to people to prove by science. But it's definitely psychologically addictive. You do feel as though you need this in your life, and you make up a bunch of excuses as well, like, oh no, but it treats cancer. Yeah, but you haven't got cancer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that. Or, oh no, it treats anxiety. Yeah, well, if you look at the other studies, it also ramps up anxiety symptoms. So it's like, it's a major catch-22, because a lot of people believe it's this miracle plant that there's nothing bad to ever come from it. But as I'll stop quoting the bald fella after this, but as Joe Rogan has said before, if you abuse anything, it's bad for you. If you abuse hamburgers, you get obese. If you drink too much water, you die. That's actually another one. He didn't say that, but that is true. So obviously it all comes down to like abusing things. And I think when you're addicted to a drug, it isn't abuse. It's just your dosage. It's just, this is what I'm having because this is what I need, and there's no questions about it. And I think as well with weed and cocaine. Now, I was never addicted to cocaine before. I've done it, of course, loads of times because of this exact reason. The fact that it's so glorified in our society today, like, not glorified as such, it's just so. I remember being out in a club, and like I was saying, I'd be talking to one of the lads, and I'd be like, oh, you're just on the gargle tonight? And he'd say, no, I'm just taking it easy, I've only a gram with me. And I'm like, you're just taking it easy, you have a gram of a class A substance that you're shoving up your nose. That's not taking it easy, like, do you know what I mean? That's the opposite of taking it easy. And I think it's not so much glorified. People don't think like, oh, you're cool because you do coke. And I said I've done it loads of times. I haven't done it loads of times. I mean, I can't even. I always, when I was 17 and 18, do you know what I mean? That was the times that I was doing stuff like that because I was fucking stupid. But like, it hasn't stopped for a lot of people. A lot of people around Dublin, it has not stopped. A lot of lads cannot go on nights out. And I'm sure loads of them who are probably secretive about it, that I probably know, can't go on nights out without fucking putting a gram up their nose. And it's just, there's no two ways about it. It's just like, I can't go on a night out because I've no coke. And it's just, I think as well, it starts to become, when it starts affecting your life in a way of like, if you want to go out on the weekend and you want to spend €100 on fucking literally petrol mixed with coca plant, and say, yeah, what about your tops, yeah, talk like Roger Rabbit all night and wreck everyone's head, fair enough, you do that, right? But when it's becoming a thing where it's affecting everyone else around you, then it's obviously something you need to look into. Like, obviously with me with the weed, like, I started off smoking a few joints if I was out with the lads, whatever, and then it became I was smoking it out my back every night, and then it became I was smoking it before college, and then it was, see, the thing is, right, I'm kind of jumping from subject to subject here, but I'm just kind of ranting more than anything. An addiction becomes a problem, or the definition for an addiction, in my opinion, is an escape from your reality, because there's something you're not happy with, or there's something you're bored with. So if you're sniffing coke all the time, or if you're smoking weed all the time, it comes from somewhere. There's something else wrong that needs to be addressed. Now, some people just do have addictive personalities. Some people say that that's a myth. I personally do not think it's a myth. I think because it's been proven, it has been proven in studies and that, and I know I said I wasn't talking about studies and stuff, but it has been proven that addiction runs in families. Now, you could say, well, if you're looking at your parents whacked out of it, you're going to go out and do the same because obviously you're looking up to them, they're your parents, they're your protectors and stuff. But as I was saying, it's like it's kind of it's hard to put into words, but I was doing it because of reasons that I wasn't thinking it. I was blocking out. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, as I described to one of my other mates was he was talking about drugs, and I was saying, look, we're young, people are going to experiment with drugs. If you're doing it safely, that's grand, but there's a difference between going and exploring your mind. I think we are on the topic of psychedelics. Exploring your mind and losing your mind. There's a difference there. If you're trying to black out with this with any sort of substance, that's not healthy. Do you know what I mean? Obviously it's not healthy. It's not healthy really to do drugs anyways. Well, providing if you're doing them safe, right, that's another subject. I'm not talking about the safety of drugs. I don't think anyone should do them. But it's like, as I was saying about the addiction part of it, it's like you're trying to block out a part of your life. Maybe not be a part of your life, but you're trying to block something out, or you're bored, or there's something wrong somewhere that you need to replace a certain gap with a substance or a act. And the thing is, especially like with any kind of addiction, is you'll start to notice, if you're thinking, I wonder if I'm addicted to that. Well, first of all, it's like, well, can you live without it? Do you feel as though you can live without it, right? That's usually the first sign of whether you're addicted to something or not. And then if you're like, yeah, I could live without that, yeah, and then you try it and you can, happy days, right? But that's not really, I think, what addiction is. I think it's when you realise that your whole life is revolving around that thing, that certain thing. For example, I'll go back to me with the weed again. My holidays were to Amsterdam. My only holidays were to Amsterdam. When I was working, I wasn't buying weed because I had the money from work. I was working so I could buy weed. In my head I was, you know, coming home, and everything was because of weed, you know. If I was going on a weekend break, I wonder where I can have a joint. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's sort of the same with coke heads as well. Like, they won't go on a night out. They won't be like, I might as well get on the bag because I'm on a night out. No, they'll go on a night out so they can go on the bag, so they don't feel bad about doing it in the gaff. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone doesn't do Hoover because they're in a pub. They go to the pub so they can do Hoover, if that makes any sense. It's like, when the drug stops revolving around everything else, and everything else then begins to revolve around the drug, that's when you know that it's destructive, and it is an addiction. And I mean, I know for a fact, because I was looking things up, that I'm not saying everyone who's addicted to things was abused as a child or anything like that. I'm just saying that the correlation between childhood abuse and addiction is very high, and to be more precise, childhood trauma and addiction is very high. So or any sort of trauma, a lot of the times, see, it's going back to what I said again, with any sort of addiction, it's a block out mechanism. You know what I mean? You're trying to block out something. You're trying to block out something else, and it's like, it's weird, because like, I can understand it, but at the same time I can't understand it, because the main reason I gave up weed, well, no, I didn't say, I don't mean at the same time I can't understand. I can completely understand it, but the main reason I gave up weed was because I was getting extreme panic attacks whenever I smoked. And the thing is, I know for a fact, unfortunately, if I didn't begin to get panic attacks, I'd still be smoking. That's the thing. You have to really want to give up something to actually give it up, and it's really hard. Like, and the thing is, right, and I feel like people who have no sympathy for drug addicts are fucking pricks. Just to put it simply, are fucking pricks. Because if you can imagine, especially, like, don't be giving the money to them homeless people. They'll just spend it on gear, right? Okay, and if you don't give them money, are you gonna save them from gear? Is that it? Is that your plan? Is that your intervention? Is it just don't give them cash? They won't get gear, and they'll be all better. No, that's not how it works, because you don't give them cash and then they go and mug someone. Now listen, I don't think you should all go and start giving all your money to the homeless, because a lot of homeless cunts are not homeless. A lot of the junkies, sorry, big difference between homeless and junkies. A lot of the beggars, we'll say, in town, a lot of them are fucking pricks. A lot of them are scumbags, right? There's no denying that. But there's scumbags everywhere. But I'm saying, like, for example, say a fella junkie sitting in town, right? And I don't like using that word, but just say a junkie sitting in town, and he's geared out of it. Who's to say he wasn't like absolutely battered as a child every day battered as a child by his junkie dad, who had a junkie dad before him and a junkie dad before him. No presents for his birthday, nothing for Christmas. And then one time when he was 15, he went out and he went, you know what, fuck this, and fuck this lifestyle. I'm sick of getting my head literally kicked in every day. And he picked up a needle and he goes, you know what, fuck it, it's an easy escape for an hour. And that's all it was. And to all of us, it serves them right. They knew what they were doing. Bollocks. That's fucking stupidity, that is, in my opinion. I think anyone who's addicted to something is, look what happened in Portugal. They decriminalised all drugs. They stopped looking at drug addicts as these criminal bastards and started to look at them for what they are, a patient. Someone's sick if they're addicted to something. Now, I don't think if you go out on a Saturday and you sniff an eighth, I don't think you're sick. I don't think you're this junkie or anything. I just think you should say, maybe I'll just try go out next weekend and not sniff anything, and see if you can. And if you can't, you obviously have a battle to deal with yourself. Do you know what I mean? But again, if you're going out and you're doing coke and you can wake up the next day and you feel okay and it's not affecting anyone around you, who the fuck am I to judge you? Walk away. But like with addiction, it's, as I was saying about like the lads in town and that, it's like, it is 99% of the time it's to do with some very traumatic experience, and a lot, right, some other times it's not. Some other times people were just fucking bored or whatever and they just took it. But there's a sad story behind a lot of addiction. Do you know what I mean? Like, there really is. And I think we're very quick to judge in this country, like fucking extremely quick to judge. It's and to blame as well. The blame's a big one. We love to blame people. It's the foreigners' fault. Oh, is it, right? What did they do? Do you know what I mean? As I was talking about to one of my mates today, go into any fucking hospital the next time you have a fucking sore leg and you're clogging up the fucking A&E rooms with your fucking smell. And go in there, and who's going to be looking after you? Rajesh or fucking Pavel. Someone from Spain or someone from fucking India who knew how to study for their exams instead of saying to teachers, we didn't even do one. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have, as a nation, we have a shit work ethic when it comes to certain things. We have a very big entitlement to us. Call it the Irish entitlement. A lot like the Irish nod. It's unique to us. Well, no, it's not. Americans are far more entitled than Irish people. But I'm kind of getting off track here. But we're quick to blame. We're quick to say, it's the sort of, like, I also call it that you wait your turn or you get what you're given. If you walked up to a line of people and you skipped that line with reasonable, if supposing you walked up to a line of people, you showed the fella at the top of the line something, the fella who was, supposing it was outside a shop and coronavirus and all that, right? And you walked up, you showed a card to someone at the door and they let you in. I guarantee you the whole line will be, what's so special about him? Why is he allowed to go in? What about us? What about us? Why is he allowed to go in? And if you went up to the line and you got refused from the shop, if he said, get the fuck out of here, no one would notice. No one could. It's kind of like such a jealousy thing in this country, I find. Now, I could be just shy talking, which I am, and I'm not even going to say, I made a pun about the podcast. But, like, I think it's sort of like everything's so personalised in a sense with Irish people. It's like, going back to the addiction thing, it's like, if you're quick to say that they're just a junkie on the side of the road and they're a scumbag and they're blah blah blah, but like, if that was your brother, or if that was your any relative, if that was any relative of yours that had been through something horrible and ended up in the position that those people are in, you wouldn't be thinking the same. You know what I mean? I don't know. I am blabbering on now, but I am just shy talking. I really am. So I'm gonna that's what I'm gonna do. And if you don't like it, I can't really help you with that one, to be honest with you. But this is just one of them episodes where I'm just talking, just being me. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no, like, as of the past couple of days, my mental health's been all over the place. And that's why I started to do the podcasts. So I'm not going to become some little kind of, well, on this week's episode, we've got an interesting one for you all, everybody. We've got 10 facts about your knees that you didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm not going to become one of them. I'm just going to fucking talk the way I want to talk, so that's it. But, like, for example, in Detroit, in America, right? This is going into a bit kind of conspiracy-ish territory. But in Detroit, I think it is in America, where they have a huge heroin epidemic and a fentanyl epidemic. And by the way, lads out there who do white and Hoover and coke, whatever you want to call it, there's fentanyl going around in bags of coke, and there has been for a while. And you'll be telling yourself all the time, like, no, not the stuff we get. Stuff we get is blatant ladle, top of the range. Stuff we get is, yeah, whopper. Back to, not even back to back, bro. Top of the range, flake straight off the rubber. No, right, yeah, there might be fentanyl in it. That's another thing, you don't know what shit's mixed with now. Even weed, fucking, there was lads dipping weed in piss a few years ago to make it heavier. That's a fact. And did I care? No. Did I smoke piss? Maybe. I told myself I didn't. It didn't taste like piss, but I might have smoked piss. So the same way you might be sniffing fentanyl. But anyway, the Detroit problem. It's weird because a lot of people who are on the gear, specifically referring to heroin in this instance, they started off, right, with an injury or something from work, right? And then the GP prescribed them Oxy or whatever. Oxycontin. Or, I think that's how you pronounce it. Or another opiate based painkiller, right? Codeine, any opiate like that. They took it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Then they said to the doctor, I think I'm a bit addicted to this. Now, this has happened loads of times. I've heard it, like I've watched videos on it. Oh, just because you watch videos doesn't mean I haven't. I don't care, right? It did happen. Fuck off. So they come back to the doctor. They say, doctor, I just thought of, hi everybody, hi Dr. Nick. But anyway, I don't know why I thought that. Just because I said doctor, like, I think I might have ADHD or something, the way my brain rambles. But yeah, so they go to the doctor and they're like, I think I'm a bit of a dependency to this boss. And he's like, oh my Jesus Christ. No, I'm actually going to stop joking now. I really have to. It's a serious issue, right? Serious facts, right? So he goes, oh, that's not good. Let me take you off them. So then he stops their supply of them completely. Then they're like, I need opiates now. Do you know what I mean? I need opiates. I'm strung out, quite literally. So they go and then they get heroin. And then the heroin's not available, so they get synthetic heroin that's 1,000 times more powerful, which is fentanyl. And probably cheaper. I don't know the street prices. I ain't got no street cred over there. No mo. We out here. But you know what I mean? Like, the big pharmaceutical companies, they're the biggest dealer. You know what I mean? They really are. And I told you it's a big fat lie. Told you a big fat stinking lie. Told you I wasn't going to have a vape. But come here. I've been recording for 23 minutes and 9 seconds. So I'm going to have a fucking vape. I'll pull away from the mic though. Unless someone wants a little ASMR video with the vape, I'm going to be like, hi guys, this is me vaping. And just vape into the mic. If you want that, if you are into it, again, OnlyFans link in the description. But yeah, addiction. Drugs. La cocaína. Narcos. It's a mad one. I think everyone's addicted to something. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's addicted to, like, whether it be sugar, whether it be the sweeteners in Diet Coke. Oh baby, Diet Coke. Fucking slaughter the 2 litre bottle of Diet Coke now. I'd swamp it down, and the burp I'd let out after it. It actually, the guard would come to the gaff because they think I have some sort of fucking bomb in the house. They'd be like, what was that? It hit 3.4 on the Richter scale, I reckon. The burp I'd let out would. But yeah, one other thing I'm going to touch on addiction before I'm going to move on to a bit of a rant is being addicted to the ritual of the addiction rather than being addicted to the actual substance or act. Right now, what I mean by that is, right, there was a friend of the family. Was he a friend of the family? I think my uncle said he knew him. He was a gambling addict, right? And he said to my uncle, he was like, I'm addicted to gambling. My uncle was like, oh, do you win much? Like, what is it about winning? And he's like, no, it's not winning. He said, it's going up, it's writing out the bookie slip, it's giving it into the cashier, It's getting the little slip back. It's the excitement of that part. And my uncle couldn't get his head around it, but I could because of the weed scenario, right? Smoking the weed wasn't even the best part. It was getting that text back saying, yeah, I've stuff there. What you looking for? It was the fucking feeling of going and meeting the fella. That's him there. That's him on the pusher there. Going and meeting him giving you green. Going back, not making sure the guard don't see it on the way home. Going back, getting into the shed, sitting down, getting out the grinder, getting out the skins, getting out the filters, putting on what songs will we listen to. The whole fucking ritual is a lot, 99% of the time, a lot more addictive than the actual act you're carrying out. Like, it's the same way, like anyone who's doing like that, like cocaine, for example. People love talking about doing cocaine more than they love fucking doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're out and people love telling you that they've a bag there, and they're like, if you want that, let me know. I'm like, fuck off. Well, no, I'm not gonna. I'm acting like I'm pure against drugs and all. I'm not, in a sense, right? If it's ruining our life, I am. But that doesn't mean I'm against you. It means I'm against the drug. But yeah, it's like the ritual. And what I mean by ritual is, as I said, like the excitement of hearing back from the dealer, stuff like that, is actually more enjoyable than putting the drug into your body 99% of the time, and it is true. But I mean, that's kind of my little kind of, not so much rant, just kind of my say on addiction and what it is, really, what it is. But like, it is what it is. No, I need to stop joking around, but it is, like, it's sad. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a big correlation between addiction and mental health, mental illnesses. Do you know what I mean? There's a big correlation between child abuse and addiction. There's a big correlation between trauma and addiction. There's something wrong if there's an addiction there, and a harmful addiction. There's something wrong that needs to be addressed. And it's hard because it is so frowned upon, addictions. You know what I mean? It's, if you're addicted to coke and you want to get off it, imagine if you go to your man and dad and you say to your man and dad, listen, I'm on the bag every night, will you help me? Most of 99% of your mans and dads are probably going to snap. If they're loving and they're nice and they care just about you, they're going to say, do you know what, as I would, thanks for coming to me, and I'm going to help you every step of the way. But it's a scary experience being addicted to something that you don't want to get off as well. Do you know what I mean? If you want to get off it, it will happen eventually with the right steps. But when you're addicted to something that you don't want to get off, it's terrifying because you know that you don't want it to live. I remember saying to people years ago, I know for a fact I'm going to be smoking green when I'm 60, 70, 80 years of age. I know for a fact I'm never going to not smoke weed. And I knew it in my heart. I was like, why would I smoke weed? And like, there was plenty of reasons why. I was fucking blown up like a fucking balloon because I was eating too much. And like, some people lose weight on weed. I was not losing weight on weed. I lost a little bit and then I blew up. Went up to 17 stone at one point. 14 now, like, still a bit of a chubby boy, but not as big as when I was a stoner. But there was plenty of reasons why I should have given up weed and I didn't. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just, it is a hard thing, addiction in general. But that's kind of just what I wanted to say. I did want to touch on them little fucking bastards who were going around assaulting people, but I'm actually not going to. I'm not going to cloud my head with that negativity right now. Just long story short, they should be all put down. Little fucking future benefit munching cunts. That's all I'll say. If you think I've seemed a bit angrier this podcast, you're wrong. I'm actually not angry. I'm just completely not filtering myself, and I'm just chilling. And I'm glad with the way this podcast went. I think I didn't read one now. I've literally looked at the timer go up the whole time. I've had a couple of vapes, right? Don't get me wrong, I've had a few vapes. But yeah, I've liked this. I've just given opinions and I've chilled and I've ranted and stuff like that. And there'll be another weird one next week. I'm going to get another weird one in next week. My first guest will be on soon enough. I'm going to do one of the Zoom calls soon. One of the lads from America, or one of the lads, I have a lad from England coming on. Old friend of mine, Chris is his name. He runs his own shisha company in London, so I'll be on with him. So I'm gonna do one of the Zoom calls soon, I reckon. And yeah, that'll be a good buzz. I want to start the gaming videos as well, because that'll be a good way of just staying consistent really with uploads. But we've hit the half an hour mark, so I'm gonna leave it there. Like I'm giving you a bleeding HO. Leave it there, bro. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, as usual, subscribe and all that jazz if you want. If you don't want it, that's fine by me. Give the video an L like a Rooney as well, for the laugh. Because if you don't, your food will go off in the fridge. But yeah, nice one. I was gonna say good night and God bless, because it's very late on Thursday night here, but you're listening to this early on Saturday. Do you know why? Because I'm fucking consistent with my uploads. Now I am, yeah. But yeah, right, see you next week. If you need anything, holla at me real quick. And keep smiling. We're nearly through this quarantine. We'll have a few gargles after it. A little fan meet up. Imagine that. Imagine I was that fucking pretentious. But anyway, have a good one. Keep smiling as usual. Keep talking shy. I love you and leave you. Peace out.